So a while back, I did a plushy chicken tutorial, and it was somebody else's pattern. So I went ahead and I created my own pattern. It is quite similar to the one that I had before, but yet there are some significant changes. So this is a tutorial on my pattern for a large chunky farm chicken, and here it is. And I love the way that the neck kind of comes out in the front here and goes back. So today's tutorial is going to be on my chunky farm chicken, and there's a little bit of added something in here that I'm going to end up sharing with you as we are crocheting this chicken. And I think that you're going to find it quite interesting, and it's going to make an exceptional difference in what you can do with this chicken, and it will make an awesome gift for any occasion. Hi, I'm Darlene, and this is Heartfelt Crochets. And this is where I research, I study, I share, and I teach all things crochet. If at the end of this video you have liked it and found it to be helpful, then please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Okay, so for today's tutorial, crocheting the chunky farm chicken, we are going to need a 5.5 millimeter hook, a yarn needle, a stitch marker, and a pair of scissors. Today we are using Bernat Blanket Tweeds. It is a number 6 super bulky yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and take this sleeve off, and we are going to start with a magic ring, leave a little bit of a tail, and we are going to single crochet 12 inside that magic ring. Now take this tail and bring that forward, and we're going to be crocheting right over that tail. So hold that tail right up against the ring, and we are going to crochet 12. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and one more. Whoop, come on. One more makes 12. Okay, so now we're going to pull that ring closed. And now we are going to, for the second round, we're going to increase in each stitch around. So that's 2 single crochets in each of the 12 stitches. And we're going to be using a stitch marker now to mark our very first single crochet made, and single crochet in that same stitch, and then a 2 single crochet increase in the next stitch, and again, whoop, see that spun right around, about wanted to jump right out of my hand. Okay, and you're just going to continue that around, and then at the end we're going to count to make sure that we have 24 stitches. It is really easy to miss a stitch as you're going around, so be really careful and I will see you when you have finished this round. Okay, and there is one stitch left. All right, let's go ahead and pull that out a little bit and remove our hook. I have still a little bit of a hole here, so I'm going to pull that even tighter. Whoops, so tight that I broke it. Okay, but I got it. Okay. So as I was crocheting this around, I noticed that I ended up missing a stitch back here, so I frogged it and I did it again. And like I said, it's very, very easy to skip over a stitch because they are so close together when you are increasing with 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to count to make sure that I have 24 stitches. And there's 2 in each, so I'm going to count by 2s. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and 24. Perfect. All right, so the next row, for, round 3, we are going to single crochet 1 in the first stitch and replace our stitch marker. And then we are going to increase in the next stitch. And then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then increase in the next stitch. 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Increase in the next. And we're going to just repeat the 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then an increase in the next stitch for the remainder of this row, and you are going to end up having 1 stitch left when we are finished. So 1 and 1 in the next, and then increase in the next stitch. And 1 more is a single crochet in that stitch and a single crochet in the next and an increase in the next stitch. Okay, and then we have 1 stitch left. We're going to just 1 single crochet in that stitch. So that completes round 3. Now for round 4, we are going to single crochet in the first stitch and replace our stitch marker. And then we are going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in the next stitch, and then a decrease, 2 single crochets in this next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and an increase in the next stitch. And that is the sequence that we are going to repeat for this round. So that's 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then an increase in the next stitch. And just go ahead and repeat that sequence of 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then increase of 2 single crochets in the next stitch, all the way till you reach your stitch marker, and I'll meet you back here. And I am at the last 4 stitches, so it's 1 single crochet in those 3 stitches, and then an increase in the last stitch, and that completes round 4. Now remove your stitch marker, and for round 5, single crochet in the first stitch and replace your stitch marker. and single crochet in the next stitch, and increase, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and then increase in the next stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, whoop, come on, and increase in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches, and increase in the next stitch, and you're going to repeat that sequence of 1 single crochet in 4 stitches, and then an increase of 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and repeat that all the way around to your stitch marker. You will end up having 2 single crochets left over, so I'll meet you just before those 2 single crochets. All right, the last increase, and then there's 2 stitches left over, so we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each one of those stitches, and that completes round 5. Now for round 6, you're going to single crochet in the first stitch and replace your stitch marker, and then a single crochet in the next 4 stitches after that. So that's 5 single crochets, and then increase in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and increase of 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and complete. Continue that around till you reach your stitch marker, and I'll meet you back here again. Alright, so I'm at the last 6 stitches, so it's 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whoop. And then an increase in the last stitch. And that completes round 6. Now for round 7, we are going to single crochet in the next stitch and replace your stitch marker. And now we are just single crocheting all the way around, just 1 single crochet in each stitch, and we are actually doing this for the next 12 rounds. So round 7 through 18, we are going to just be single crocheting around, and don't forget to remove your stitch marker when you get to the end of the round, and then place it back into the first single crochet of the next round so that you don't end up losing your beginning. So go ahead, and I'm going to leave you for a little while. Going to crochet the next 12 rows of single crochets in each stitch, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I have gone ahead and completed the 12 rows of single crochet. So now I have a total of 18 rows here that have been crocheted. So now for row 19, we are going to remove the stitch marker. And we're going to single crochet in the next stitch and replace the stitch marker. And then we are going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches, which will make a total of 5 single crochets to start. And now we are going to decrease. So we're going to insert our hook under the front loop only of the next stitch, and then the front loop only of the next stitch. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 front loops, and then yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. Okay, that's called an invisible decrease, so that you aren't leaving a big hole to notice that you've decreased. Then we are going to do the same thing, and we are going to single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So this is 3, 4, and 5, and then an invisible decrease in the next 2 stitches. So insert your hook, come on, under the front loop of the next 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those 2. Okay, and just going to repeat that for this entire round. So this is 4, and then 5, and then invisible decrease. And you don't have to do the invisible decrease if you don't want to. So if you want to do a regular decrease, you would just insert your hook, grab a yarn and pull up a loop, and then insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, and then you would yarn over and you would pull through all 3. But see that hole that it's leaving, where it's not leaving a hole back here? That's why I recommend doing the invisible decrease. So I'm going to do the invisible decrease. And just keep repeating that around. And I will meet you back when you have reached your stitch marker. And if you would like to show me some support, consider becoming a member of my channel by just clicking on the membership link in the description box below, or the join button on the main page. And if you don't want to become a member, then maybe just buy me a coffee. You never know if I might shout out your name in my next video. All right, so I am at the last 5 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the last decrease. Okay, so that completes round 19. Now for round 20, we are going to be single crocheting in the next 4 stitches. So replace your stitch marker in this first single crochet, and then single crochet in the next 3, and then decrease, and then single crochet in the next 4, and invisible decrease. And you're going to continue that for the rest of this round, and I'll meet you back when you get to your stitch marker. And I'm at the last 4 single crochets, and then a decrease in the last 2 stitches. Okay, it's getting a little bulky, a little more difficult to work with. So that completed round 20. So now what we are going to do is stuff the chicken. But the thing that I wanted to let you know, the little extra thing that I wanted to show you in this video is if you wanted to turn this chicken into a doorstop, we are going to take just a nylon stocking, just a knee high, okay? And we're going to take any type of a bean, like a navy bean or a kidney bean or a pinto bean, any type of a bean, but I find that these navy beans work really well. And we're just going to stuff this sock with some beans. And we're going to make a little weight. Okay. All right, so I have a good little amount of beans in here. Now what I'm going to do is just tie this in a knot. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tuck this inside itself. Okay. And then you can kind of just do the same thing, just over a little bit, just to get that excess stocking off. Okay. And that's all there is to that. And now you have a little weight that you can just set inside your chicken. Try to get it like center. And then we are going to go ahead and stuff it. I'm going to stuff in around that weight first. Now you can use any type of weight that you want to, but that's just my little trick that I do for a weight. Okay. Now we don't want to overstuff it. All right. So now what we're going to do, excuse me, I get a little frog in my throat. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pinch it together like this, and we're going to crochet some of it closed, but first we're going to make this little chicken tail. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, you can see where this last stitch is. So we're going to go into the next stitch, and then right where that last stitch was, we're going into that last stitch that was worked, and we're just going to pull through and then yarn over and pull through again. So that was a single crochet. But now what we're going to do is we're going to double crochet in this same stitch right here that we just closed. So we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into this same stitch that we just crocheted together with that single crochet, and yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through the last two on the hook. Then in this next front and back stitch, we are going to half double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into the front and in the back, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all three loops on the hook. Now for the next 12 stitches, front and back, counting as one, we are going to single crochet this closed. Okay, so for the next 12 stitches, make sure that you don't end up crocheting in the same one that you just did in the back. That can be a little tricky, so just be careful. And crochet 12 single crochets across, and I will meet you back here when you have finished that. All right, so we have a single crochet and double crochet in the first stitching together, and then a half double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 single crochets. Now you should have 12 unworked stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what we're going to do now is single crochet in each one of those 12 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Now, we're going to do 2 more rounds of that, but I want to show you something. If I was just going to go ahead and single crochet in this stitch here, it's going to leave a little bit of a hole. So what we're going to do is kind of go into this back stitch here that has been worked when it was closed, and then we're going to insert a hook into this first double crochet, and we're going to slip stitch. So pull that yarn through and pull it through. All right. So now we are going to bring this yarn forward and go into this very first stitch that this yarn is coming out of. And we are going to single crochet. That's our first single crochet. And then crochet into the next 11 stitches around. So that was 1, and then this is 2 for a total of 12 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's going to get a little tricky as we go now. Okay, you're going to do the same exact thing. You're just going to slip stitch, otherwise it's going to leave a little bit of a gap. Go into that same stitch, and then in each stitch around, (11) and 12. Okay, so let's just pull up a loop, because now what we're going to do is you're going to see that when you close this together, this is the front of the head. Okay, so this is the head, and this is the front of the head. So now we're going to place our eyes, but you don't want to place them in between the stitches because they're just going to go right through. So we're going to want to place it kind of in between, right in the stitch itself. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, right in the stitch itself. Okay, that looks pretty good. So it's going to be 1 and 1, and then you'll have 1 stitch in the very front. And we're going to put our backings on. Give it a snap. And then the same on the other side. Okay, that's good. And then now what we're going to do is you're going to want some yellow, just regular yellow worsted yarn, or yellow orange, whichever you decide. And we're going to thread our yarn needle, leave a tail, and then where we said that there was 1 stitch in front of the eye, 1 stitch in front of this eye, and then there is a stitch in the middle. What we're going to do is go on either side of that stitch, okay? And we're going to insert our hook and come out the inside of the head. And then we are going to leave a tail. And then you're going to come from the inside out the front on the other side of that stitch. And we're going to go in the same spot. We're going to go back and forth like this a couple of times. Okay. And when we go back in the second time, we are going to lay the yarn on top of each other. And again, this time we're going to come right across the middle of these 2 pieces of yarn here. Let's tighten this one up just a little bit. Okay. Going to come right across in between the 2. To give it a little bit of a beak look. Okay, and then we're going to come back out this side. Nope. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to push our hook through where we were just feeding that yarn needle, and we're going to grab this one and pull it through into the other side and bring that up just a little bit. There we go. So now we have this cute little beak, and we're going to cut our yarn so it's the same length. And we're going to tie a knot and try to bring that in as close as you can get it. And then just tuck this excess tail inside of the head. Okay, so now we have our eyes and our little beak. And now we're going to stuff this head. I'm going to push it down in because we want to make sure that we fill this area right in here as well. Okay, so now that I've got this area filled in, because you don't want this to be without stuffing because it'll cave in. So you want to make sure that you fill that in pretty good. And then just keep stuffing right up to the top of the head. Okay, that's pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we are going to cut this yarn here and leave a pretty good tail because we're going to use it for sewing. And we are going to thread your yarn needle. Oh, nope. You're going to pull this through and thread your yarn needle. Whoop. I don't know if you can hear that, but the people right below me is making a little bit of noise. I'm right above, my studio is right above a 10-year-old boy's bedroom downstairs. So you might, it's Sunday today, so you probably are hearing what's going on down below me. So now what we're going to do is in the front loop around, we are just going to insert our needle and pull that through, and we're just going to do that in each one of the front loops of each stitch all around the top of the head. Okay. All right. Get a couple more here. And we will bring it back in this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cinch it closed. Okay. Then we're going to bring it through this one here as well. Okay. And now we're going to insert this into the center hole and just kind of bring it out anywhere and pull the yarn through. And then cut that yarn. And now it is time to make the little comb for the top of the chicken head. So we are going to need, I've neglected to say that you are going to need some type of a chunky red yarn for the comb. I don't recall what brand this is. I do believe that it is Bernat Blanket as well. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the beginning of this. Okay, so we are going to turn our chicken so that it's facing right. Unless you're left-handed, then you would be doing it this way, but I'm not left-handed, so. And then right across the top, we're just going to insert our hook somewhere into the front of the head. And we are going to grab this yarn and we're going to pull through and slip stitch. Now in this very same space, we are going to double crochet. So right in that very same space, double crochet. And then in this, anywhere right behind it, we're going to insert our hook into a different spot and slip stitch. And then in that same spot, double crochet. And we're going to do the same thing again back here. Okay, insert and slip stitch, and then double crochet in that same space. And then I'm going to do that one more time. And then we are going to cut that yarn and pull that through. And we're going to thread our yarn needle. And we're going to go as close to the comb as we can in the back of the head. Insert the hook into the head and come out somewhere on the side of the head or the side of the body. And then go ahead and thread the yarn needle with this little front piece of yarn that we started out with. And we're going to insert that in front of the head and try to come out the same spot as this piece of yarn from the back. And you're going to notice that there is some little floppy pieces on this side. I'll show you what to do with that in just a second. So let's go ahead and cut these ends. And then just kind of use your yarn needle and kind of push that in a little bit. Okay. So what we're going to do is on this side, we are just going to insert our hook underneath the stitch and just kind of pull these forward just a little bit. Okay. And that's going to help level these out. This one's just a little bit more, so let's go ahead and pull that through. Okay. And that is our little comb. Comment below and let me know if you ended up putting a weight in yours and using it as a doorstop. Makes an excellent Christmas gift if you do it that way. This is our chicken. And until next time, bye.